Last month, I stumbled across a super intriguing article.
Look, apparently this is the most neurodivergent friendly country.
Should we find out?
Yep. Welcome to Sweden. According to numerous articles, Sweden is the most neurodivergent accessible country in the world, and we are traveling with EF Ultimate Break to test that theory. That's right, I traveled from Vancouver, Canada to Stockholm, Sweden to test this article's claim. Is Sweden the most neurodivergent friendly country in the world? Well, we've created a list of tests to try out over the next few days, and I will leave no stone unturned, mainly because they're a special interest, but you get that point. Here are the categories of tests we will be conducting. There were 4 things that I specifically wanted to test while on this trip. Number 1, sensory environments and support. We were going to be doing a lot of activities with a group, and so I wanted to see what was the lighting like in these spaces, and were there places that I could go to escape if it was really overstimulating. Number 2, information accessibility. Is it easy to navigate the city? Is there clear signage? Are there instructions and access to support like guided tours? Number 3, transportation. Am I able to get about the city using their train systems, their taxis, and it not feel too overstimulating or hard? And finally, number 4, public perception. What is the general public's view on neurodivergence, and why does this matter? Thankfully, I was able to talk to a local and have a really lovely interview with him, so stay tuned for this. Hello, we are in Stockholm, Sweden. It's our first evening. We are going into the train station right now, and we are going to see, is this an accessible place for somebody like me who struggles with directions and things like that? Accommodations, that's what we need. Let's go. So the first thing I noticed was there was signage everywhere, and often in multiple languages. There were visual maps and guides, and almost every station had an elevator and an attendant available to ask questions to. Very accessible, very easy. They also have the stops. And that is helpful. Okay, one ad is that the trains are air conditioned, which is a big deal for somebody like me. And there's literally just this side or that side. So if you mess it up, you just have to go to the other side, which is like ideal. And it was really clean and wonderful. So I can't think of any downsides to the transit right now. Based on this experience, compared to other places I have traveled, this is like one of the best transit systems. Easy to follow. There's people to ask for help. The signage is great. It's clean. I would give this like a 10 out of 10 right now. So happy with that. So at this point, we were feeling really confident and decided to navigate transit alone. And well,
2, board the Metro 17, 18, or 19.
It went great. Thankfully, Google Maps made navigating the trains even easier, but the signage was helpful. And if we looked even lost for half a second, someone came up to help us, and it was incredible. We just navigated the train station alone without our tour guide, and it was really easy. We literally walked in, followed our little Google Maps, beautiful signs. We really can't mess this up because it's literally either of the trains that are coming. So we did it.
We're basically locals.
And to make this trip even more accessible, I'm traveling with EF Ultimate Break, who takes the stress of traveling on for you. EF planned the entire trip, which means I get to sit back and relax and not stress about the small details. The itinerary is also flexible enough that I could spend time relaxing and regulating if that was needed. But I also got to do some awesome tours and experiences with the other travelers that I might not have known if it had not been for EF and our awesome tour guide. So thank you, EF, for sponsoring this video and helping me to test if Sweden is the most neurodivergent friendly country.
Good morning. We are going to City Hall and a museum today, and so we're going to test to see how accommodating these spaces are, how like the sensory vibes are of the space. And I know that we're with a tour, but imagining like if we weren't, if it would still be accessible and easy to navigate. Let's see how it goes. Okay, we are now at the City Hall. One thing I immediately noticed, a lot of this is just public property. You can just walk around, which means you don't have to like wait at a long entrance. I love that. I'm very curious how this is going to be at the museum, but first impression so far. Wow, this is actually insane. Look at this. Are you kidding me? So, because we're with a tour, our tour guide got us our tickets beforehand, which made this way easier. I am noticing there's a long ass line to get into the building. So I'm gonna ask the ticket center if they have neurodivergent accommodations for skipping lines and things, because it can be really hard to stay in a line that long. So I will ask for you. I have a question for you. Do you guys have neurodivergent accommodations?
No.
No, not that you know of. Okay, I was just curious. Thank you. Okay, their answer was really nice. They were essentially no, we don't really have accommodations, but if you needed something, we'd figure it out. My guess is that I think if I had asked in advance and been hey, I want to go at quieter hours or something, they probably would have been really accommodating for that, but they don't have necessarily anything specific set up. So they're really nice, really, really nice.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
We were in fact not good. My mic didn't work, but essentially what I'm saying is that traveling with EF made everything so much easier. I was able to turn my brain off and explore without the stress of where we're going next or timing. That was our tour guide's job, and they were amazing. Anyways, on with the video.
We are now at the Vasa Museum. Again, all of these museums and places have a group entrance versus an individual entrance, and so we're just flying by all the lineups and things, which is really cool. But I will again ask if they have any accommodations or quiet hours or anything like that. One note, the lighting in this place is so wonderful. It's all warm lighting. It's none of that fluorescent museum lighting that I think a lot of us are used to. And especially out there with the ship, it's dark and wonderful. So sensory wise, very nice, though it is busy as fuck. It's so fucking busy. So I want to find out if there's quiet hours or anything. I'd be surprised if there were, but let's go.
So when we entered, there was a long lineup leading to a self-service ticket booth, but when I researched online, you could buy in advance, and it gave lots of info on accessibility options, including peak hours, which is helpful for planning.
I think one thing that makes Stockholm so accessible is that you can find a little hidden corner to be quiet and hang out in anywhere. We are 30 seconds from one of the biggest... Hold for Scooter. He's in a suit. We are 30 seconds from one of the busiest squares in Stockholm. And look at this. What the hell? We could just come here, have a little sit, and then go back if we wanted to. Obsessed. So I wanted to test going to a museum without our tour guide and without our group, and thankfully EF gives us these free days to go do things. And so we went to the Swedish Historic Museum. It was unbelievable. This is one of the best museums I have ever been to in terms of sensory and accommodations. We got all of the sensory supports. They had smelling things, they had touch and textile things, they had different sounds going on. The visuals were insane. This museum was truly 10 out of 10 in and of itself. They also had free guided tours. They also had audiobook options, truly incredible. So again, another example of Sweden just being top tier. We are nearing the end of the trip in Sweden, and I have a couple of thoughts. One thing I wanted to say is that all of this has been from the perspective of a white woman. And I think the experience of a person of color would probably be really different. And I think that's just important to note. Okay, just throwing that out there. Let's rate each of our sections. Information accessibility. I feel like everywhere we went, I got the information that I needed. There was nowhere that I felt lacking of information, but part of that was also the fact that we were traveling with EF and always had a local tour guide or our tour guide with us. Pause for a sec. Sick, dude, sick. If you're traveling alone, I feel like the experience would be hugely different. Having a group and going with EF has been so helpful. And I'm saying that as someone that was gifted this trip, but everyone we've talked to on this trip, everyone's there is their second or third trip. Someone on this trip, it's their 10th EF trip. Hello? That's crazy. So people love it. It's so nice. It makes traveling so much easier. But overall for Sweden, information accessibility, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Now, I got the absolute privilege of speaking with Tim, who is a local Swedish tour guide, and I asked him a few questions to gauge the public perception of neurodivergence.
Do you think that Sweden is very accepting towards those types of people?
I think Sweden has become more accepting in the last 20 years. We start to see them as an asset.
What if somebody were unable to work because of their disabilities? Is there some sort of disability aid?
Yes, there is. We do have a disability aid for people. As long as the kids are kids, they get very well supported. But once they're grown up, they're kind of like stuffed away. They still will get some sort of salary. They might have some sort of work. We don't have any good plans for once they turn 20. It's actually quite frustrating.
Yeah. Do you think it's common for people to talk about these types of people, or is it still like an up and coming conversation?
No. I think Swedes love to talk about people who need some extra care, but they don't really want to understand what actually happens to many of their lives and how they really can be supported.
Do you think that Sweden's a safe place for these types of people?
Yes, I do. I do think Sweden is a safe place for these people, and if there is some kind of support in the background, they can still make it quite far.
What do you think that Sweden could be doing better for these types of people?
I think in Sweden we think sometimes it's better to put people away than actually try to integrate them into society. I know that not everyone in these categories can do all sorts of jobs, but there is a job for everyone to do. And they have to be part of daily life.
As a tour guide, are there reasonable support systems for these types of people to participate in visiting Sweden?
I'd say yes. We are very flexible in helping people. I think as a tour guide, you are used to set an itinerary. You have times to keep. You talk loud and clear. So you have a lot of things already with you. I'm just happy if I have to tour someone who has some sort of disability, and you can make their day enjoyable in Stockholm. So we take pride in helping people.
Can I just say, Swedish people are so nice. Everyone we talked to was just like so sweet. People went out of their way to help us, even when we didn't ask. It was really, really wonderful. And Tim, our tour guide, bless up Tim. He's literally the OG. We love this guy. From our conversation that we had, I really feel like Sweden is probably one of the leading countries in terms of neurodivergent acceptance and supports. But I think overall, what I'm taking from this situation is Swedish people specifically are just really accommodating to anyone. I feel like the Swedish people we met were all just really nice and wanted you to be comfortable. And that feels good. Sounds like they still have a lot of work to do, but like, don't we all, you know? So overall, I'm giving Sweden an 8 out of 10. Thank you. So there you have it. My experience in Sweden was really positive, but one thing I learned while I was there was I have a ton of Swedish followers, and so I need your opinion. Is Sweden the most neurodivergent friendly country in the world, or am I just some white girl who passes as neurotypical and so I was treated better? I don't know. I was only there for 3 days and you might have lived a lifetime there. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you to EF for sending me on such an incredible trip. If you were interested in doing a group trip like this, look at the description. I've put a little discount code down there that I don't make any money off of, but I think you would genuinely enjoy one of these trips. So check it out below. And as always, I am so proud of you for putting in the work to yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. So it's pretty fucking cool. You're doing it for yourself. I love you so much. I will see you in the next video. Bye.